Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Lizzie Spalding at the Marion County Extension Office, and we are going to make 10-minute chili. As we're making this, the weather's been very cold the last couple days, so this sounds perfect, doesn't it?
Right. I thought we definitely need something warm to have today.
That's right. So, what makes this chili different than some other family recipes that you might see around there?
This is a more basic, simplistic recipe, so it's just the basic ingredients for chili. You've got a can of kidney beans, a can of tomato sauce, some chili powder, onion, and some ground beef. So that's just the kind of basic ingredients for chili.
And then if you want to, you can expand from there, right?
Right.
Right. Okay, but it's healthy too, I guess, huh? To a degree.
We are using the lean ground beef, so that does make it healthier, yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so what do we do to start?
Well, it says to use a small onion, which of course you can tell this one is not small. So I'm going to cut that up and dice it to put and cook with our ground beef.
Okay. And does it matter what kind of onion?
I typically just use a plain white onion. I think is what's typically used in most chili.
Okay. Gives it some good flavor.
Right.
So as we said, with the cold weather, this is a popular dish. You know, all during the winter months, you'll find various kind of chilies on restaurant menus and such all around.
And you know, I'll tell you, Saturday I went to the grocery store, which of course, you know, the snow was supposed to be coming Sunday and everybody knew that it was going to be cold. And I went to get ingredients for chili and there was not one can of tomato juice. So I did not make chili Saturday.
Really?
Everybody had bought it out.
Uh-huh. They've gotten it all. And you can see this is already heating up. It feels good.
Coming in from the cold.
Now, do you have any tips for us to how to not cry while you're cutting up these onions?
You know, they typically don't bother me, but
okay.
So that's not something that I usually worry about.
That you worry about?
Sometimes you just have to kind of grin and bear it.
Grin through the tears.
Right. This one's not bad though. If you can smell it, it's not very strong.
No, it's not. My nose usually doesn't work. I have some allergies that kind of make can't smell much often, but I do have a little bit there, but not too bad, so that's good. Trying to decide how much you want.
Yeah, see if I want a little bit more or not.
How many people are you expecting to serve with this?
This is a small dish recipe. It's 4 1-cup servings, so you're not going to serve a lot of people with it, but if you're a single person wanting some chili, or you and your spouse, or you know, just one
small
kid,
family.
then it'll be fine.
That'll be perfect.
Right.
Because you know, as we're recording this, it's very cold on this Tuesday, but by the end of the week, it's supposed to be back up to the 50s. So you may not be wanting the chili by the time that comes, you know. So it's good to make a little one and then go from there. So we're adding our beef.
We are going to add our beef, if I can get it open.
And you are using ground chuck?
Yes, the lean. It's 80%. 80% lean. That's what we're using. And this only calls for a ½ pound of ground beef, so we're just going to use half of this.
Oh, listen to that sizzle.
No, it sounds good, huh?
Mm-hmm. Already warming me up.
And then we're going to put our onion in there with it that we've chopped up.
And again, this is the 10-minute chili, so this is the quick and easy, down and dirty chili. Now, since it's lean, that means you won't get as much grease. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. Which is more healthy for you then, obviously, right?
It is. And since you're only going to use a ½ pound and you're only going to use half of that pack, you could either go ahead and cook all of the ground beef together and store that, the other half, for something you're going to make later in the week. If you were going to make spaghetti and you're using hamburger or sloppy joes or something like that, then you could cook that and refrigerate it, and that'll be good for 3 to 4 days. So you can use that later.
That's good. So once it's cooked, it's about 3 or 4 days.
Right.
That's good. How long is it uncooked?
If you leave it in the package open like that, it's only going to be good for a couple of days. So you might be better off to go ahead and cook it while you're cooking the rest of this.
Okay.
And that way you already have half your meal done for another night.
Right. Which is good. You see some of these things online where people say they cook for a whole month, like in one weekend or something like that.
Right, which you can do if you're one of those people that's very prepared. You know, it can be done.
My thing is, how do you know what you're going to want towards the end of the month, you know?
That's the thing, is knowing what you want. That's the big problem with doing that, is the meal planning behind it. Because you have to actually set out and plan your whole month recipe so you can do that one big shopping trip.
Spend that one day, and then you freeze them all, I assume, right? And then unfreeze them. Okay. So we were talking beforehand that this is a simple chili, but there are various forms of chili out there. People make them in different ways. Some people add noodles.
They do.
And some people just have the beans. What's your preference? Are you a noodle person or a non-noodle person?
I can eat it either way. I have grown up with noodles in it.
Okay.
And that, even the noodles is a debate because some people use macaroni and some people use spaghetti noodles.
Right.
So, you know, some like one more than the other.
What's your preference?
My mom always put macaroni noodles in ours, but I can eat it with that. I can eat it with spaghetti noodles. I can eat it without noodles. I just like chili, so it doesn't faze me one way or the other.
Okay. How about spice? You know, that's another thing too. Some people like it spicy, some don't like it spicy. What's your preference there?
Well, and that's the thing with this recipe, is that it's just got the onion and your chili powder in it. Now, if it was me making it, I would probably put some green peppers in here, maybe a jalapeno. I like the spice.
Okay. So it's not the powder that does the spice, it's the other things that you add in there.
I usually add hot sauce to my chili too.
Oh, wow.
I like spicy foods.
Evidently. That'll warm you up, too.
The hotter, the better.
Hot inside and out.
Right.
Wow. So you add the noodles and spice when you make it.
And spice. Lots of spice.
So what are we cooking this until? What are we looking for here? Just till it's brown?
Until it's nice and brown, which you can see it's getting that way. I was flipping it. There's a little bit of pink left, so we're just going to cook that until it gets brown. You can see that the onions are also starting to brown, and those will get tender as they cook.
Yeah. Looking good.
Smells really good.
And again, it's the lean, so it's healthier for you.
Get that's done. We're going to turn our skillet off here. And what I'm going to do with this, since it's done cooking, I'm going to put our beef and onion mixture into the strainer, and I'm actually going to run water over the beef. And that's something that you can do to get rid of the excess grease. As you can see, since we've got lean meat, there's not a lot of grease in here.
Right.
But even so, once you get done cooking it, you can rinse that with hot water, and it'll get some of the excess grease off of it.
Okay. Because the grease is partially what makes it fattening too?
Right.
Got it.
So, just going to put that in here.
So we're straining out our meat and onions so we can get it even more healthy.
Which I was making chili with my fiance, and he said, "You cannot strain that. It'll get rid of all the flavor." I promise it does not get rid of the flavor whenever you rinse it with water. He learned something from me that day because he learned that it does not get rid of the flavor. So I'm going to rinse this off.
Okay.